Good morning, my friends. We're a little bit early today. I was awake. Incredible. Well, actually, that's not true. I slept just so badly. I was awake many times. I was awake at 2. I was awake at 3. I was awake at 4. I gotta clean my glasses. Give me 1 second. It's like a little thingy. You know, when you have a little thingy on your glasses, it becomes a big thingy out of the corner of your eye, and you can't help but look at it. It's Sunday, and look at that. We are doing Sunday Zine Club number 10. We have hit the double digits, folks. We're on number 10. But we got to look at number 9. What do you want to do first? You want to look at number 10 first, or do number 9 first? Let's look at number 9. So I woke up this morning and I really didn't want to do this, but I had to do this because I was so behind. You might remember 2 weeks ago I finished my zine and I didn't get it uploaded until this morning. I didn't get it finished until this morning. Like, I had to make the cover and all that. You still have 4 minutes. You know, if you still have a zine, you can get it in this last 4 minutes. And then I was making my zine. I was setting up the new jam, and I was like, I feel great. Let's go early. Let's start the Sunday Zine Club and get it done early. And now I just feel crappy. I feel really bad. So this might be kind of a short one. Might not be the best Sunday Zine Club of all time, but never let it be said that I didn't show up when I said I was going to show up. I try my best. But this month has really gotten away from me. I feel like I haven't really done much this month, so I had to do this. I had to do something. We got 13 submissions, which is the most. Absolutely incredible. We've got some books. We've got some comics. We've got some games. We've got some coloring books. We've got some crafting. Incredible. Thank you so much for everyone who joins in. I hope that a little snail. I hope that you're just having fun with it. That's the whole point, right? Oh, we got kind of a bug theme going on here. I love this. We've got Exquisite Monster. We've got Itty Bitty Snail and Slug Zine. And we've got snails here. And then maybe some bugs and animals, because we've got walking in a swamp and then walking in the woods. We got some kitties. Awesome. Thanks for joining, is what I'm trying to say, you know. Thanks for taking a chance and coming out and making something. You made something this month, right? That's the whole point. That's why we're here. And that's why we're doing it again. That's why we keep doing it. So we're on number 10 now. Number 10 starts in 1 minute. Number 10, the theme is play. Can you see that behind my head? Yes. Okay, good. You can see that behind my head. Number 10 is play. It's been so nice outside. I got to go to the beach yesterday. I live very close to the beach, if you don't know. But I don't go often enough. Absolutely. I do not go often enough. I finally went for the first time maybe this year, yesterday. Hung out at the beach, walked on the pier, and I don't know, I just felt like play is something good to think about. And you know me, I've talked about this before. I love choosing a theme that can be many things. So play in the sense of, let's see. Oh, you know what I should have opened up? I should have opened up the picture that I chose. Let's go to the community because you can kind of see it. There you go. It's bubbles and in a park, and so there's all these kids, and it's like a pool and a bouncy castle and everything. So play in that sense of like playing like we did when we were kids, but also play in the sense of music, right? You press play when you watch something. So I feel like there's a lot to do. Play as in games. We've had quite a few game submissions, games as zines as games. I like it. I love that crossover. One of the things that got me into this website, got me into itch.io, was the fact that I wanted to make like little word games and like tabletop style games and like card games. So I love when you can package a game into the form of a zine. Like a game can be that small. You know, my brother and his wife are really big into tabletop games. As a family, we were when we were younger, but they have really gotten into it. And some of those boxes are just so big. It's kind of amusing how big and giant and all the little pieces. And it's like, yeah, but I can't, take it to the beach and like play it on the beach, right? Speaking of the beach, I have this game. I have a game. Maybe I should try and print this out. Test it out. I have this game that's like beach themed. And you print these little pieces. It's totally like random gameplay thing, that mechanic that I just totally made up. But that's kind of what I love about it, right? We just do these things. We play, we try it out, right? We experiment, we see what works. All right, in the spirit of seeing what works, we're gonna do this. This is mine, by the way. This is Sunday, and I changed it at the last minute. You might remember that the front cover looked different. I changed it at the last minute because it didn't quite fit anymore. So that was another thing that I did this morning. What I was thinking is just doing a little. Ooh, this is a really depressing background, huh? Ooh. Usually I film my videos over there, which has like the nice background, the painting of the mountains behind my head in most of my videos is actually a painting that my grandma did way back when. Probably the 70s, probably not the 80s. I don't know. I would have to ask her. So I set up a little Pomo screen. I go back and forth on these Pomos all the time, right? Every time we do a Pomo, I have a different setup on OBS. Sometimes I want to write pen and paper, and then sometimes I'm just like, I just need to, clickety clack on the keyboard and see what comes out. So, like I said, I think this is going to be just a little short one. I don't even know if we're going to get to an hour today, because I opened up this template, and I don't know, I'm feeling like I need to switch this up. I've been doing this template. This is now 10, right? This is now Sunday Zine Club number 10. And I've basically made 9 zines that look like this. I mean, I know there's one that's a quarter page, so maybe 8. But most of my zines look like this. I feel like I kind of need to switch things up a bit. And I don't know exactly how or what, but that's why we do morning pages. That's why we write. We write to think about what we want to think about. So I've got a timer for 10. Maybe we do 15. Let's do 15 minutes today. And I'm going to be writing on the screen, but this font is called the redacted font. So it just looks like squiggles, but it actually is words. So if I changed it to another font, then you could actually read that. I mean, this literally only says, this is just to say I've eaten the plums, because I was just testing it out. But the thing about morning pages is that you have to do it very freely, right? You have to just let yourself write and not worry about it. And every time that I would try to do morning pages on camera, on like live, I would get like paranoid about what I was writing. So I love this idea of using this font so that I can write whatever and nobody's going to see it. Nobody's going to read this. Nobody's going to zoom in on my videos and figure out what I'm saying. Because I'm really not saying anything. It is a lot of whining, complaining, and nothing. Like, it's a lot of like blah, blah, blah. But you got to get the blah, blah, blah out before you can get to the good words. So we're going to start with 15 minutes and just write. We'll just write. And if I come up with an idea, if something happens, and then we'll make a zine and then we'll go from there. So if you want to write, open up your notes app, get out a notebook, pen and paper, however you like to write. I'm going to be writing here in this little window. And then we'll come back and we'll see what happens. We'll see what we can do today. We'll see what kind of ideas fall out of my brain. All right. So 15 minutes. Here we go. All right, almost 15 minutes. I feel pretty good to me. I came up with a bunch of ideas, but not a really good idea. So the thing I was writing about right when the timer went there, I was thinking about records, because I have during the pandemic in 2020, I bought a turntable and kind of commandeered my parents' record collection. Or rather, the half of it that my brother hadn't already taken. We kind of split it. We kind of split it 50-50. He took the records first, took what he wanted, and then I took the rest of it. And then we kind of negotiated back and forth. I was like, yeah, but I want the Elton John. Ooh. And also, I stopped at the record store the other day on the way home and bought some new ones. So I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that idea of play, because I am very much a album person. I like to listen to an entire album in a row, not necessarily the entire album. I will skip songs if I don't like them, or if they're just not my favorite, right? Like, I love, one of my favorite albums is Transatlanticism by Death Cab for Cutie. But the second song kind of feels out of place to me. Like, it's a much slower song than the rest of the album. Or rather, the beginning of the album. Like, it feels like that second song could go later in the album and it would fit better. So I very often skip it. I didn't realize how close to the end it was. So I was thinking about writing something about that, right? The fact that these days, because so many people are on Spotify or Apple Music, some kind of streaming service, so many people are listened to on shuffle, right? And like, I love shuffle, but I'm not a playlist person at all. I actually, I have a Spotify account, and like, I made a couple of like themed playlists. So there's one on there that's like all about zines. So like songs in the theme of like paper and scissors and cut and paste and all that kind of stuff. And then there's one, I was working on one about pockets for my book, because it's kind of a thing of like making a themed playlist for your book or your project or whatever. But I don't use it to listen to. I don't know. And it's very funny, because I loved, when I was a teenager, I loved making mix CDs. So I loved making like my own mixes and burning them. And then I would listen to that, right? So it would be on like a physical CD, and I would listen to it on my Discman, which, if you think about it, is just a playlist, right? That is a playlist, even though we put it on a CD. But I don't do that anymore. I don't have that inclination anymore. I don't know. So I think some people are album people, I feel like, and some people are playlist people. I think that's the two categories. So that's what I was thinking about. That's what I was thinking about writing. I could do that. And then the other thing that I was thinking about, the other idea I had was, I have this template. I don't know, can we find it? Let me see. I have this template of a game in a zine form, so like we were talking about before. And I'm pretty sure that it's not done. But then I was thinking, that's not really in the spirit of the jam, right? The spirit of the jam is that we make here it is. The spirit of the jam is that we make the zine in the time of the jam. So something I was thinking is that I haven't finished this one yet. Right? It even says this is the front cover. But yeah, it's so close to being done, so that doesn't feel sporting to do this for this particular jam. We'll probably maybe we just do that anyway. I'll just upload it separately, right? And not upload it as part of the jam, but maybe this is what I work on anyway today. That's a good idea. I actually didn't think of that. It's funny that I was trying to think of something to make on the stream, and I didn't think that I could make something that's not for the jam. Because that's just always what I do these days, is I make zines for the zine jam. That's the whole point of the Sunday Zine Club, right? So yeah, maybe we just finish this one right now. That'll be good. Okay. There we go. We figured it out. See, this is the beauty of being live, is that you figure stuff out. You figure out what you're doing. Okay, we're going to close that window. And we're going to adjust this window a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to make it bigger so that we can actually see this. So the point of this is that, because it's a template, the point of it is that you can fill in the blanks. So what I'm trying to do is use the placeholder copy as explanation for what you should do, right? So like this materials is a perfect, let's get rid of this word count. I don't need that word count there. Where does that live? View? It should be view, right? Hide word count. There we go. So the materials are in a bulleted list. This is a bulleted list. The objects players need to play the game. So this paragraph explains game setup is often related to the materials. I think that this needs to be a lot more explanatory and less clever. I mean, that's always my problem. Too clever by half is what they say. I'm always trying to do something cute, right? When I really should just be a lot more clear and obvious about things, straightforward. So this, I think the intro one is good. This paragraph tells the reader what your game is about. You can tell them what inspired you to design it, perhaps. Explain a little about the theme, setting, and concept. The objective of this paragraph is to explain to the players how the game is won. See, again, trying to be a little bit cute here. Intro, objective. Do we need a little bit more? What else would we have here? So, again, I'm saying this is the front cover. I'm trying to explain that you need to put your title here. But I think that a better cover for this is story Storytelling game title. Perhaps. And this is a tagline. I think what we can also put here too is a little graphic. So we're going to, I don't remember if, yeah, for some reason we don't have wingdings anymore. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. So I think what we're going to do is do it as a image rather than text. What have we got for games? I feel like maybe do the do we want to do chess or do we want to do cards? I like the clover because it has that extra meaning of luck as well too. And it's very obvious as a game metaphor. I don't want it that high. All right. On the back, it says this game was designed by you. On this back cover, you can add your credits and links. This page can also be used to I'm thinking about like inspiration, bibliography, any kind of research that you did. If there's anything that you want to shout out or link to or refer to, you can put that on the back. You know, everything else is a title. Maybe this should have a title too. We do the nerdy thing and call it colophone. I think people know what colophone means. We could also say about too, right? Maybe about is a little bit more clear. Yeah. So I think this page can also be used to credit collaborators. Not materials used. I'm thinking of like assets. Assets is the word I'm thinking of. Assets used. Research or inspiration and Assets and maybe software. We say assets and software. Research. Do this as a list rather than or. Research, inspiration, and what? I'm trying to think of like words that we use to say like this is, I mean, inspiration is a great one, right? This is what inspired this game. This is why I made this game. Which is a little bit in your intro, but also this is more like the page where you give credit, right? Maybe we just say research and inspiration. Is that enough? Is that enough to say that? We can also put add your, is that microphone too low? Feels like it's too low. Add your something about like copyright license. Add your copyright and license and usage. Let's say usage license here. And then I'm going to put at the bottom my name. This template was created by and we're going to make that a link. I just put a space. All right. So we've got gameplay is like one sentence. This needs to be way more. Nope. I just lifted up my cup, but there's no water in there. Safety says when we play games together or even solo, we have to consider emotions. We have to consider. I don't think that's what I want to say something. If your game is about big ideas, offer the players content warning. If your game is cooperative, remind players to work together, not against each other. Allow players to prepare themselves to be open to others in the world. I guess emotions is the best. That's the best way to say it. I don't think that if your game is about big ideas is not the right way to describe that. I think we'd want to, but I don't want to say challenging ideas too. I don't like that. That's kind of the, maybe we just say real life. I think that could be. if your game is about big real life. Perhaps if your game discusses real life, we could do that. So, materials. We're definitely going to reorder this because I don't like it. We're going to do these are the objects players need to play the game. Write them as a bulleted list. Don't forget to print the instructions. Before you play, this paragraph explains game setup. It is often related to the materials as well as the players. All right. So gameplay, I feel like gameplay is the hardest to write because gameplay could be so different. So I'm modeling this template. Let's go and look at the internet for a second. Can you hear those dogs? They must have spotted something outside. So I'm modeling this after this game that I designed back in 2017. And it's a storytelling game where, okay, I didn't put any more screenshots. That's it. It's a storytelling game that's like cooperative, and together we are creating the next Voyager, right? The next probe that is going out into space to tell other creatures about Earth, about humans. So if you don't know Voyager 1, it has what's called the Golden Record. It was a record that was recorded, I don't know what the word would be, with music and language and also pictures. And so like pictures of humans and animals and who we are and what we are, right? As a way of saying, we are human. So if you look at the cover, this is a diagram from the Golden Record here. And I used this idea, this same gameplay mechanic of everyone put something into the bowl to add to the story, right? So each turn is adding something to the story. And every time that you add something, you're building the story together. So it's something that I used for this game as well too. You can see this is where I started making this template from. So this is like the exact same pages, right? The materials, we have paper cut into 2x2 squares, pens, and a bowl. And I kind of like this idea as like a game mechanic, this like cooperative building the story by writing it. And so I wanted to turn that into a template so that other people could make this kind of story. So that's where we are here. Oh, I didn't realize big old face was covering that. Not like I was actually writing anything though. So the gameplay is similar in that it's following this idea of we are all building the story together, taking turns to add a piece, right? It's kind of like that exquisite corpse, right? That exquisite corpse idea of each person adds one part of it, and then all together we make a whole. But at the same time, I don't want this to be so prescriptive, right? I want this to be very open for you to take this concept and then remix it, turn it into something else. So I think that we're just going to do like really broad strokes. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm thinking for gameplay. Like, this paragraph explains the actions each player may take on their turn. It's funny that I think that I just kept way more of the writing from these pages. And I don't know why I did that. Why did I delete so much gameplay here? Let me go look. Let me go look at the see what open up this one, see what it looks like. See what the text looks like. Okay, so yeah, those 2 pages are exactly the same as my Pride game. That's very interesting. So these 2 pages I didn't edit at all. Those are just copied and pasted straight from it. Okay. So here's what the rest of the gameplay page says. Oh, is that a typo? Oh no. Oh no. I'm going to have to fix that. I'll have to make sure. Don't let me forget that. I'm going to have to fix that and re-upload a new one. So we're going to want choose a deciding factor. How do we say it? Deciding factor for choose a, I don't know if factor's the right word, but we're going to go with it for now. Choose a factor for deciding the first player, or deciding which player goes first. Factor. Choose a characteristic. Okay. Maybe that is. Maybe that is it. So, on each turn, a player adds one piece to the collective story. They write that piece. Not necessarily writing, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be writing. This is part of what I'm saying. We got to make it more generic, right? So they describe their addition for the group. Excuse me. Players are encouraged on their turns to build on and add to previous additions. Maybe we say expand on previous addition. Okay. I'm going back to the intro. And I think that for the intro, I actually made it too generic. Because this is, right? This is a storytelling game. So we can actually put a little bit more specificity into it. So I think we're going to say, this paragraph tells the reader how your storytelling game works. Yes. All right, so here we're going to change this to just examples. End game says the game ends when every player has used all their pieces of paper. So instead, we're going to say explain how, or how about explain what factors lead to the end of the game. As a group, each player takes a paper from the bowl and continues to tell the story. No new additions may be made during the end game, but celebrations and critiques can be offered. When the story is complete, players may discuss and celebrate their favorite moments. At the end, each player chooses their favorite feature and chooses their favorite piece of the story to take home with them and continue the narrative. Examples is a lot harder of a page to write, though. I guess I could probably leave what I have there and maybe just add a couple sentences to explain what it is, to explain what's going on here. Like the first one. Use this list to offer examples. Help players brainstorm game additions. We're going off the page now. Your suggestions can be random or thematic. Okay, I think maybe I delete these because they just don't really fit. It's nice to have a place to start. But of course, the players will discover even bigger and better ideas. That's a nice little thing. Nice little encouragement. All right. Going back to I think I want to say something about how the additions can be physical or okay, yes. These additions, no, not addictions, that would be funny. These additions can be physical, metaphorical, or simply descriptive. Yeah, I knew that was going to go off the page. So how about we just say they Does that work? I think that's good. I think that's good. And take this a little bit out here. We don't need to say that. Encourage to build and expand on previous editions. Explain what factors lead to the end of the game. When the story is complete, players may discuss and celebrate their favorite. I think we're going to stick with additions here just to keep it the same. Any other end game play can be added here. Just to say, like, This can be what you want it to be. It doesn't have to be just what I think about it. At the end, each player can choose their favorite piece of the story to take home with them and continue the narrative beyond the game. Let's say that. All right, this game was designed by you on this back cover. Rather than you can, let's just say add. Direct verb. Add your name and links. Links where people can find you. Let's say this page can also be used to credit collaborators, assets, and software used to create the game. Research. I'm going back to that research or inspiration. Maybe we just say, and anything, any sources, maybe we say any sources which inspired you. Add your copyright and usage license here. All right. I don't love the cover. We're coming back to the cover. Maybe we just say template. Thing is, I know I was going to do that. Let's make this text smaller. Although if we could get game template on the same line, that would look good to me. So instead of saying this is a tagline, we could do something like an actual tagline. Play with friends. All right. This is pretty good. But what I'm going to do is I'm gonna let it sit. I'm gonna sleep on it. I'm gonna sleep on it. Come back to it. See what I think. See if there's anything that I'm missing. But I am very happy with that. I'm happy with that progress. So it was a good stream. I woke up this morning and I didn't want to do this. and then I finished up my jam zine and I got excited about it. And then almost as soon as I pressed the stream button, I didn't want to do it again. So I'm glad that we did it. We got some good work done. I'm very happy with that. And let's just go back one more time. Talk about jam. Oh, you know what? That's number 9. Congratulations. 13 entries. 13, by the way, is the most entries we have ever had. So congratulations, everyone. Do you think that we're going to beat the record? Can we beat the record? Oh, we got 27 days, 22 hours, 52 minutes. The theme is play. Let's play. Ooh, sorry. So, let's play. You've got until May 25. That's the deadline. Let's make some more zines. Let's keep it going. Number 10. Double-digit numbers. Let's do it, folks. Thanks for hanging out with me today.